Boundaries Commission and President Uhuru Kenyatta are expected to file their responses to that petition by Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka. Sophia Wanuna is at the Supreme Court. I understand there's a little bit of activity. Sophia, what's going on?
Okay, the pictures you're seeing on your screen, Linda, the Jubilee team here for President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is a third respondent in this suit. So you can see some of the lawyers submitting their documentation are the registry here at the Supreme Court. And of course, they're addressing the registrar of the Supreme Court there. And you see several officials and counsel. Evans Monari is there. We can also see Ahmed Nasser, Abdullahi, Raphael Tuju, as well, one of the Secretary General, actually, of the Jubilee Party, and others. So managing to beat that midnight deadline, Linda, coming in at 9:07. It has been a long day waiting for the Jubilee team, but they're finally here again for the third respondent in the Raila Odinga Kalonzo Musyoka petition. And they're here to respond to those matters that were raised by Raila Odinga in that petition. And they have brought quite a number of documentation. You saw those pictures. Of course, bulky is what we can describe what they filed this evening. And so just being taken through, remember there's payment that's meant to be made, there's verification of the various documentation that they're bringing here. So that is happening at the registry here at the Supreme Court, Linda.
Okay, Sophia, so the team that you're currently seeing is representing the president. Do we have any idea what time the IEBC team is likely to get here?
It's unclear, but I suppose they're aware now that the president's team is here, so they have less than about, 3 hours as well, the IEBC, to get here. Counsel for the IEBC as well as the chair of the IEBC. So any time from now is what we can say. We had earlier seen officials and lawyers from the IEBC outside the Supreme Court. So I suppose soon after the president's team finish, we'll be able to see the IEBC. I want to move the microphone closer so perhaps we can hear some of what has been said. The battery of journalists here is trying to get some room.
Sophia, try as much as you can.
It appears they've moved to the back of the room.
Sophia, let me buy you time. So as you try to see if you can get the mic as close as you can. For the viewers just joining us, let me let you know what's currently going on. The pictures on your screen are live from the Supreme Court here in Nairobi. We are focusing on the presidential petition and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. And President Uhuru Kenyatta have until midnight to file the response to the petition by Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka. And that deadline, like I mentioned, is in a couple of hours. So Sophia Wanuna tells us that the team that you're currently seeing on your screen it represents President Uhuru Kenyatta. We are not quite sure what time the IEBC team will be able to get there. The Supreme Court registry will, of course, as it did on last day for filing the petition, remain open until midnight. That is to give all parties adequate time to be able to get there on time. We do know that Chief Justice David Maraga on Monday also issued directions on the filing of written submissions with co-petitioners Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka given until 1 p.m. Friday to file and serve theirs. The respondents, IEBC and President Uhuru Kenyatta, have until, I believe, 7 p.m. Friday to file their written submissions. Like I mentioned, live on your screen are representatives of President Uhuru Kenyatta currently giving their response to the petition by Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka in the presidential petition, one that has been touted as probably one of the most important in recent times, and probably the eyes of the entire country and the entire world will be focused on the Supreme Court as that happens. And the other thing that you need to know about this particular case is that any party wishing to be admitted to the petition as amicus curiae, that is a friend of the court, has until Friday, 1 p.m., I believe, to file and serve their application. And then we also know that there is, we expect a pre-trial conference on Saturday. Okay, let's listen into what's going on now. All right, give us, let's try and see if we can get a clearer sound from the Supreme Court. But I was just trying to let you know that we expect to have a pre-trial conference on Saturday. However, that is in question because Chief Justice David Maraga has made it very clear. And I remember when he was being interviewed for the job of Chief Justice, he made it very clear that being a Seventh-day Adventist, he cannot preside over a case on Saturday. And we do know that the pretrial conference falls on Saturday. So we're waiting to see whether or not this indeed will take place. So the purpose, we do know, of that pretrial conference is to frame the issues in the petition, give directions on when the petition will be heard, and any other order as may be necessary. Like I mentioned, our Sophia Wanuna is there at the Supreme Court for us. We should be able to speak to some of the representatives there. So once filed, the Supreme Court has 14 days within which to hear and determine the presidential election petition as set out in Article 140, subsection 2 of the Constitution. Just some of the lawyers there representing President Uhuru Kenyatta. I can see there Abdullahi, the lawyer, Evans Munari as well, and Rafael Tuju there on your screen. I'm hoping they can be able to speak to the team on the ground. Our Sophia Wanuna, like I mentioned, is there for us. That's the legal counsel representing President Uhuru Kenyatta in this presidential petition against NASA flag bearer Raila Odinga and his running mate Kalonzo Musyoka. Just a little bit of consultation there as we wait for them to just speak to, I believe there are so many media houses there on the ground. Could we listen in?
We have filed the President's affidavit and a number of other affidavits. And I think in the next 30 minutes to 1 hour, we will file all the documents in which the President and his team addresses each and every allegation made by the Honorable former Prime Minister and his team. And